Hello, all. Our chapter is Why Do We Fall Ill? So, every one of us know why people become sick or they fall ill. So, there are various reasons why people become sick. So, they may be the pathogens, that is, disease causing organisms, or some nutritional deficiency diseases, or some immunity related problems, or genetic problems, or hormonal imbalances. So, there are various reasons why people become sick. So, before learning all these, let us know few terms here. So, the first one is health. So, health is described as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being of a person. That means being healthy means one person feels physically good, he must have positive outlook, and he must be able to cope up with social and mental pressures without much difficulty. Maintenance of health. So, how a person have to maintain the health? So, what are the various reasons that keep a person healthy? So, one is having balanced diet, that is having all the nutrients. So, we know what are the five components of food, that is carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, and vitamins, including adequate amounts of fiber and water. So all these keeps a person healthy. So next, proper exercise. Physical activity should be there for every person to maintain proper health. At the same time, proper sleep of about 6 to 8 hours is required for a person. Then maintaining cleanliness and hygienic conditions in the surroundings and by person itself maintains helps him to keep healthy. And then a person should be relieved from the stress. So these are the conditions for health: good physical and social environment, good economic conditions, social equality and harmony. Our next term is dis-ease. So the term dis-ease means without any ease or facing discomfort. So when a person begins his day, he will be performing all his activities without any discomfort. But when a disease occurs or when a person is suffering from disease, there will be disturbance in the normal functioning of a person. So disease can be defined as an impairment of normal state of a living organism. So how does an individual know that a person is suffering from a disease? So there must be some indications that tells that the person is suffering from a disease. So those indications can be called as symptoms. So these symptoms can be physical, mental, or both. So some of the physical symptoms here, they are fever, headache, nausea, etc. Here I specified symptoms of malaria. So one person suffering from malaria will be facing such symptoms like high fever, headache, chills, sweating, and vomitings, and even muscle pain.
So, what do you mean by organ specific and tissue specific manifestations? When a microbe infects a specific organ of an individual in a particular type of disease, it is termed as organ specific or tissue specific manifestation. And it mainly depends upon their point of entry. If suppose if the pathogen enters through air, through nose, then it is going to likely affect the lungs, and the signs and symptoms are related to that specific target site. For example, if the lungs are the targets, then the symptoms will be cough and breathlessness. And if suppose the point of entry of pathogen is mouth, then the gut is going to be affected, and the uh, and this organism is going to cause liver infection, or it may affect the liver, and then it may cause disease like jaundice. In addition to these tissue specific effects of an infectious disease, there will be some common effects also. So these common effects mainly depends upon the body's immune system. So in an activated immune system, the body recruits many cells to the affected tissue. So why they get recruited to that affected tissue is to kill that disease causing microbes. So this recruitment process we call it as inflammation. So there are some effects like swelling and pain. Even the person will be suffering from fever during such kind of during inflammation. Next, sources, causes, or factors of a disease. So, there are two factors that are responsible for a disease. One is intrinsic factors, the other one is extrinsic factors. So, what are intrinsic factors? So, if the factors causing a disease are present within the body, then we call them as intrinsic factors. So, there are four intrinsic factors. One is malfunctioning of various parts of the body. That means if any part of the body is not functioning properly, it may lead to that related disease. And then genetic disorders and hormonal imbalances. So these hormones are chemical substances. If there is any hormonal imbalances, that may lead to some of the diseases. For example, you can take thyroid problems, and then malfunctioning of immune system, and examples are allergies. Then extrinsic factors. So if the factors responsible for causing a disease is external to the body, it is not within the body, then we call it as extrinsic factors. So what are the four extrinsic factors that are responsible for a disease? So these extrinsic factors, the first one is the microorganisms or the pathogens. So these pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, protozoa, worms, etc., are responsible for the diseases, and they enter our body through any of the way and then causes the disease. And then the second one is unbalanced diet or inadequate diet. So these having nutritional imbalances may lead to some of the diseases like night blindness, beriberi, scurvy, and then bone deformalities, etc. And the third factor is environmental pollutants. So some of the environmental pollutants such as gases, such as oxides of carbon, nitrogen and sulfur, and industrial chemicals, heavy metals like mercury, lead, cadmium, and even pesticides are also contributing to various disease. Apart from these, consuming tobacco, alcohol, and narcotic drugs also lead to long-term effects or chronic diseases. The next one is levels of causes of a disease. So there are various levels of causes of disease. For example, if you babies are suffering from diarrhea, then the immediate reason for that particular infection or that particular disease, if it is a bacteria or a virus or any pathogen causing that particular infection, we can say that it is the immediate cause for that disease. That is the first level of cause of a disease. At this juncture, we may be asking, where does this virus come from or where does this pathogen come from? If it is from contaminated drinking water, then the next question is, why few babies develop this problem? Why not with the others? So this may be a question, next question raising that it may be due to poor nourishment. So poor nourishment or genetic related problems might be the difference, may be the reason for second level of cause of a disease or the contributory cause of a disease. Then the next question is, why are these babies not fed properly? So this is mainly because the poverty, this comes for the third level of cause of a disease. Then the differences between acute and chronic diseases. So acute diseases last for only short period of time. Their effect can be seen only within short span of time. The examples of acute diseases include cold, cough, typhoid, cholera. So in such kind of diseases, very short term effects are seen on the person's health. Then whereas chronic diseases, they last for long time. So long term health effects can be seen in such person, and drastic effects are seen on person's health. For example, elephantiasis, cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases, arthritis, diabetes, cancer, all these diseases have long term effects can be seen on the person's health. Then difference between health and disease free. So as I said, health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being of a person, whereas disease free means the person is in a state of absence of discomfort in his activities. Then health mainly depends upon individual as well as physical and social environmental factors, whereas disease free it is mainly related to the individual only, and a healthy person will be disease free. So whereas here disease free person can be healthy or may not be healthy. And the fourth point is healthy person is energetic and he is able to perform all his activities, whereas a disease free person mainly depends upon his activities mainly depends upon his environment and personal attitude.